Western Gray Squirrels of the Backyard, a profile of what they are like. Today is Tuesday, 18 March 2025. I am Tanis Coralee Leonhardi, she, her, hers of Seattle. And they're a bit different than some of the most prolific, as in most common, type of gray squirrel in the United States is the Eastern Gray Squirrel, which is native to the Eastern seaboard, kind of that kind of thing. And the Western Gray Squirrels are native to like Washington State, Oregon, possibly Idaho, and part of like British Columbia, Canada. So they're smaller. It's a threatened species, and so far as I'm aware, I think we've reached a consensus that they are Western Gray Squirrels that feed in the backyard, which is very cool. Oh mighty do I do call them Duwamish ones, and sometimes I'm like, oh mighty Duwamish ones to the squirrels. They love it. But what are they like? So on year 5 of befriending the critters of the backyard, at multiple in-person interactions per day frequency, I, Tanis Coralee Leonhardi, she, her, hers of Seattle, provide a profile of what the Western Gray Squirrels are like, including temperament and eating/foraging habits. This is partially, some people are like, but what if you domesticate them, or they become your pets, or they reproduce and you adopt the offspring? And I was like, well, I should say a little bit about what they're like. And I have a number of videos that they're in, but can I just do a really quick overview? So I'm going to start with a picture I took back on 13 November 2024. So you can see what the little kitties are like. And this one I named Ponderosa, after the Ponderosa pine tree. And here he is sitting all cute in a little Japanese maple tree. It's in the backyard. Okay. Still, so it was when I took the picture, and currently is. I can see it out my window. Okay. And so temperament, I call them the big friendly giants of the rodents of the backyard. They are big and they're friendly, and they kind of, with the different rodents that come through, they're kind of more of the cautious, and like they're like me when I'm out walking, where it's like give the other person or vehicle or whatever the right of way. Right? They're a bit like that. They're kind-hearted. They love to be sung to and cooed to. They do, and like and especially if they have a name, if I've named them, they love to hear their name, and they do actually, or can, depends on the squirrel, can get offended if I use the wrong name on a squirrel. So that's something to keep in mind. Eating habits / foraging habits. They're eaters and foragers. So they are almost constantly foraging. They like to get food from the tree outside my window, the Japanese maple tree, the one I showed Ponderosa the gray squirrel in that picture I showed, and come higher in the branches closer to my window. And sometimes the birds land in the cedar tree and looking at me, but they're friendly, and they do know where I am. And like there have been mornings where I'll go and I'll open my blinds, and I'll see a squirrel start running this direction. So they have some extrasensory perception that maybe humans don't have, or sensory perception, maybe not extra, but for them it's a basic sense, and so they kind of know where I am and what I'm doing. And so they'll come, so they're eaters, right? They like are very excited to see me and stuff like that. However, they also forage a lot. It's I like to look out my window when they're out there foraging, and they'll forage in the trees, they'll forage in the ground, they'll forage in small bushes. They are mighty foragers. So yeah. They don't rely on us for all of their food, and so I enjoy watching them forage. So that's a little bit about the Western Gray Squirrels of the backyard, a profile of what they are like.